Hello, welcome to another interesting episode on Trash It. You already know everybody on the panel today, so I'm not going to bother introducing, but for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, you've got Ajike, you've got Yori, you've got Sade, and you've got Jude. And throughout the course of this recording, a few people are going to join, okay? But anyway, we're here to discuss quite a few things, and today we're basing this episode on what is going on in Nigeria at the moment, okay? So we all know what happened about 2 weeks ago on the 5th of June in Owo, Ondo State, where unknown gunmen, went into St. Francis Catholic Church and just opened fire, okay? On adults, children, babies. They literally opened fire and people were running for their lives. Children were torn from their parents, parents from their children, and a lot of people died, okay? So till now, we don't quite know who these gunmen were, although there's been speculations that this was done by Fulani herdsmen, but nothing has been confirmed yet. So Jude, let me come to you first. On the 5th of June, Sunday morning, when you saw the video or when you heard the news, what was coming through your mind?
It was one of our friends who's been on this show before, because I follow her on Facebook. She's based in Owo. She does a lot of charity there, and she posted it on Facebook even before mainstream media carried that in, because she lived close by or nearby to the place. So I thought it was a joke. So I thought, what is happening? How come you always get this news? And then the video started coming out, and I saw the blood and all of that. But again, I wasn't really shocked, because we're so used to these sort of happenings now that we've been desensitized to this sort of violence. So it's no longer shocking any longer when you see blood or see children or mothers being killed. It's almost as if, oh yeah, then die. Okay, it's not my tongue. Move on. So that's the state. I'm no longer shocked when I see those things, because I've been desensitized by that over a long period of time with regards to Nigeria. So that was the state I was at that time.
Okay, so Jude, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come back to you just to pick on one or two things that you said. But Ajike, let me come to you. You're in Nigeria, and I mean, I don't know how far Ondo State is or what is from Lagos State, but I do know that when you're traveling from Lagos to Benin, and when you get to Owo, Jude, I'm sure you would know this, and they would say, okay, we're already in Owo, we're not far from Benin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe about an hour or 2 hours from Benin or something like that. So, Ajike, let me come to you. You're on ground, you're in Nigeria, this is happening not too far from you. What were you thinking? You're a Christian, you go to church on a Sunday morning. What was going through your head?
Well, just sadness for the people that lost their lives, because Nigeria is not a place where anything is going to happen after that. Even if it happens, the person is dead. So it's really just, it was really sad. It was I just avoided WhatsApp and all that, because a lot of people were just posting all the morbid, everything. But I just, like Jude said, you are desensitized. You can, so like me, I can sort of remove myself, because hey, it has not, how would I put it? I don't know anybody that it's not personal, but it's also just very sad. You go to church, you just dress up, you go to church, you don't expect to be killed just going to church. You don't expect not to come back home. You don't expect that, so it was really sad. It was really, really, really sad. I can't even lie, but I am, like, just like you said, we are here. So it's just, everything is just happening. There's a lot, apart from even that, just driving on, everything is, when you're in traffic, you are sad. You are not even sad. Your antennas are high, and someone can just come and hit your glass, choke you, knife you, choke you, everything. Sorry for the people that don't understand what choke you means. Stab you or whatnot. So it's just a very crazy situation here now.
Okay. Before I move on to Sade, Jude, you mentioned something. You said you've become desensitized to things like this happening. But because it happens frequently, but when you look at it, you never really hear things like this happening in the South, right? You normally hear it in the North, how, you know, gunmen will go into a church, burn the church down and things like that. But this happening in the South, in Owo, Ondo State, not too far from Benin, not too far from Lagos. I don't understand. How does that even sound normal?
I guess I understand where you're coming from, because it's almost close to home. It's what Ajike was trying to explain. We don't know anyone who died there. If one of them were my friends or relatives, it would be a different level of sadness, or different. Not that we know we don't care about these things. We do care, but because it's always happened. I see Nigeria as a whole, so I don't really look at the North-South divide. But I get your point that it's happening very close to home, because, like you rightly pointed out earlier, when anyone tells me that I know in Benin they're going to Lagos, how I gauge they've gone past some certain area, I called and they said, "Oh, we've just gone past Owo, or we've gone past Ore, and I know you're close to Lagos." Coming back to Benin, they say, "Oh, we just gone past Owo." I know sooner or later you'll be home. I know when to stop praying and doing fasting and prayer. And this has been my childhood till my adulthood. So I understand where you're coming from. It's quite close to home. But because of the way I see things in Nigeria, whether this happened in Kaduna, in a church in Kaduna, or just Plateau, it's still the same thing to me, because we've always been saying forces and injustice against one in a war. So location don't really matter for me. It's the whole Nigeria I'm looking at. But again, yes, when it comes very close to home and people then go get angry about it, and sooner or later something else happens elsewhere and they forget about it. Why I said desensitized is because it's been happening in Kaduna. It's been happening in Jos Plateau to Christians from that part of the world. So why is it different? Is it because these Christians are of Southern origin, or those Christians over there are of Northern origin? So that's the question. But again, violence in general, we've been desensitized of violence, even in Europe. With the war in Ukraine, for example, we see it as a game. We don't really see it as people dying. So why should Owo be different? You see what I mean? It's violence. It happens. People die every day. That's why we're desensitized to it.
Yeah, and I think it's how this happened and where it happened
that
makes where it happened, the state and the location within the state. Yuri, let me come to you. I mean, Owo is your hometown, right? I know I've heard you say you're from Owo and all of that. So how did this make you feel? I'm sure you have family there. I hope this didn't affect any immediate family members, but how did you see this?
Well, always my community. I'm from Owo, so before anyone knew what was happening, my dad called just to calm us down, because that church is my church, is where we buried my grandmother. My father is the Knight of St. John's. We're Catholics. So if my father or my parents were in Owo, at that point, they would have been in church. So this rings home for me. And in as much as we hear news, always a very, very quiet community. So this is really home for me. So when I heard, my heart broke, because I'm not just thinking about my parents here. This is my home. My home was being attacked. My community was attacked, and it was a senseless attack. We understand what's going on with the state. We understand the stance of the government regarding Fulani herdsmen in our community. And we understand how we don't want people roaming the streets of Owo, or our farms, or our forest.
Sorry, when you say in our community, do you mean within our community there are loads of Fulani herdsmen, they're grazing?
Fulani herdsmen are everywhere. So
I know.
So the thing about it, the genesis of this, it just didn't happen today. Prior to what had happened on Sunday, the 5th of June, there had been an attack where an expatriate was kidnapped in Owo, and his army official or security detail was shot down. Now, if you know the history about this whole thing, the present governor of the state, Arakuni Akeredolu, has spoken extensively against Fulani herdsmen and what they're doing. You can't just come into people's community and just decide to graze your animal on their crops. And all the man said, or what the government was saying, if you want to do that, we don't mind people roaming our Akeredolu is from Owo as well. He's my townsman. We don't just want people coming into our community and just creating havoc. You want to come into the community, go to your local area where you've come in and let us know that Mulani Mustafa is coming with 700 cows. And this is where he will be. That's all the man has said. He didn't say you couldn't come and graze your animal. We need to know who are the people in our forest. And instead of the federal government to support what the guy was doing, he didn't say you couldn't graze your animals. It's just we need to know who is in our forest, who is coming into our community. So he stood against the whole idea of Fulani owning anywhere they can just go to.
The open grazing, yeah.
Yeah, that's all he spoke about.
So was there a designated place for them in a ward where they can graze?
No, there's no designated.
Okay.
It's not their father's land. You can't, we don't owe you that right. You know, it's not your father's land. What we're saying is, if you want to do that, let us know who is in our forest, who is in our community. Don't just come and go on private land. Like the lady Jude was talking about, Tosin, that does that.
It's Tosin.
She's my aunt.
Forgive me.
She's my aunt.
Oh.
So
Okay.
she's got acres of land that she has created for Sister City, where women who are destitute go into. They've got farmland, they've got things that they're growing so that women would not rely on. There's no job. You can't just go for people that have invested in our community and just carry your goat and just eat everything. It does not work that way. I know we're not communicating with people that have a thorough thinking faculty, but you can't just because someone says no to you, you now think it is your goddamn right to shoot the place down. So back to your question, Celia, my community was attacked. There's a golf club course in Owo. There's an open land, which I understand some Fulani people arrived and wanted to start raising their goats and animals.
On the golf course?
Opposite the golf course. It's a private land. And the community said, you can't do this. You just cannot do this. And move there on. They came back allegedly maybe 3 weeks after and tried it again. And if there's anything you know about Owo people, they've got stubborn heads. So they moved them on. So we think this is like an attack, a retaliation about what happened. Now, till now, I haven't seen anything that the federal government has done. That is what my issue is. We need to empower the state to have their own police force. If the federal government is not in the business of helping, this is the second attack on Yoruba Nation. There was one that happened on the 5th of June last year in Gogon, and now we're talking about this again. So we don't know next year. Maybe it's going to be Benin. We don't know next year if it's going to be Osun State. So it's like no one has monopoly of madness. I've always said this. Nobody has monopoly of madness. You cannot leave us with, we're one Nigeria. Someone can come and do what they want to do and not expect people to kick back. Now, I will leave you because I know there's so many things that you'll ask, but where we are at the moment is a community where you hardly hear anything about us other than maybe we're doing something out of fun. We're fun-loving people. We're educated. We've got things that we're doing to move on the whole course of Nigeria. But now the sad part of it is that we lost so many people in the attack. There's nobody that's talking about this anymore.
That's exactly what I've been saying. That's why I say desensitized. They don't care. They've moved on.
Talking about it. I know we say, this happened in Jos, this happened in Kaduna, but you have come home to attack us. Literally have come home to attack us. And the sooner we attack back, I am not one of violence. But like I said, nobody has monopoly of violence. I'm sitting here, you're like, she's opening her mouth, she's on national television, she's in the United Kingdom, There are people that are ready to bear arms.
Yes. Fact.
And right now, what the community is trying to do is to dose that. That is what the king is trying to tell you. Everybody calm down. Because when we set this out, unfortunately, we've got good Fulani people actually in Owo. They've lived there, they've raised their children, they speak the language, and they are being attacked as well. So it's just unfortunate where we have found ourselves. I've prayed numerous times that Nigeria not happen to you, but Nigeria is happening to us.
That's exactly the slogan. But you said the good Fulani people, but there's a popular saying that evil continues to thrive when good people shut it up. So those good Fulanis should stand up and speak against them. It's just like Atiku when he stood up to tweet about the young woman who was killed broad daylight. He immediately withdrew it. So that's a bad human being. That's a bad Fulani. So if they're good Fulanis in a war, they need to stand up and say, we protect these people. We stand with these people. Don't come back here. If you come back here, it'll be war. They're not standing up. So it's like there's a
They
very
can't-
silent code amongst them
They
saying
can't stand
we're
up.
one still. Yeah.
Is the president standing up for anyone?
No, forget about the president. That guy
Yeah,
is
but the
dead,
thing
you know,
about
so.
it, Jude, is that the unfortunate thing is that the president will stand up for his Fulani people because he has not allowed us to call them terrorists. They've not allowed us to call them terrorists. We're just saying herdsmen.
Yeah, herdsmen,
No,
yeah.
for you to go into a church or go to any environment and shoot people down. Now, that's terrorism.
That's terrorism, and that's clear definition. You've terrorized people. It's simple as that.
So by the
There's no two ways
languaging
about it.
alone, you are empowering these people. Well, our son is the president of Nigeria. You can't do anything to us.
Yeah.
And it's funny how I can't remember who came out and said the people that did the shooting were from Libya and they were trained in Mali or something like that, right? Did you see that came out and said?
I think
someone
said, yeah.
Yeah, that did the shooting were from Libya and they were trained in Mali. And I'm like, are you for real? Like, anyway, Shade, let me come to you before we move to the other section of this. So let me come to you. I mean, you're Yoruba, and again, this must be close to home as well.
Everyone has said everything I wanted to say, and they're right. And it's so unfair. For me, it's the audacity. You know, it's like, how dare you? Like, you want to come to people's lands and then take over. You know, the procedures to these things, but they've been doing it. And you know, in as much as, yes, it's like happened at Owo now, but it's been happening even in the East. They've been complaining about it in the Igbos, in Igbo land and all that. And, you know, gradually, nothing's being done. So people will shout about it and then we'll all keep quiet about it and we'll move on to the next just lovers gist again. And, you know, it's like, it's so annoying when we're talking about real situation, like people dying and then people are talking about people snatching. It's just, I'm exhausted. Because
yes.
Nigerians, we don't get it straight with ourselves. We don't even understand ourselves. You know, this should be going on for the next 2 to 3 months. Like everyone coming out, like, you know how we did with NSAS. Not after 2 to 3 days is a new gist. It's about stupid gist. It's about politics and all that. You know, it's so sad. And you know, I was
just really, the issue of matter is there's a lot of hardship in Nigeria. So
but
a lot of people are trying to just survive. It's not just that, maybe it's not just gist lover things.
I know, but it's also just like people died. People went to serve their God and died. It's not like,
yes, but people are also hungry. Hungry people will not remember.
In Nigeria, it's like you have to really thank God if you go out and come back home safely, or even if you wake up the next morning, because armed robbers might just knock on your door and tell you to open the door gently. You understand? It's like it's now like a grace to leave. So we now take it for granted, like, okay, it had happened in Mushino, you know, it's happened now in Owo. No, but it's wrong. It's terrible. And like Jude said, let's forget that we have a president. Please, let's just forget that. That one, that guy is. I really don't know.
I think like what Shade was saying, one thing we must not lose sight of is the timing of that attack.
Yeah.
You guys are not touching on that. It happened hours, I should say, before the so-called APC Congress, which was the event of the generation or event of a lifetime. This was the first time I was glued to my TV, watching anything in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I was glued to the TV till 4 a.m. You won't believe it. I was shocked. I went to work. I was like dodging. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? That something in me told me that this is the make or break for Nigeria. And the timing of this attack, it was hours or days before. And what did Tinubu do? Want to throw money at it, 50 million.
Exactly.
Don't throw money at everything. This things, like Yori was trying to point out, need simple logic. But the people, like Yori said again, that you're trying to use logic with, they don't have that sort of brains.
Yeah.
But then what happens? Then you need to use iron hand. Akeredolu tried. He tried to use the tactics and the logic and speak the language. He wanted to arm the Amotekons. They didn't allow that. His fellow brothers from the West did not support him. So he knew what was coming. He tried to just philosophize about it, still these guys won't hear. When they don't follow the law, there are laws being broken on a daily. When they're not following the laws, you need to use iron hand. I'm not disrespecting any royalty, but you know my issue with royalties in Nigeria. Those guys are just half-baked people. They just collect and tell us to calm down. It's like the version of churches too, to the other people, calm down. No, the chief shouldn't have said that. I'm not saying people should go out for violence, but it should be coming out and supporting whatever Akere Dulu and the elites of that state are doing. If they need to arm their Amotekun, they need to arm them.
Yes.
If they need to tell people to be vigilant, set up the law and enforce the law, they need to do it. What is the House of Assembly doing? They need to back up the state. The president is dead on arrival, is not doing anything, whether it's because they are his people, we don't know. But the timing of the attack is something they really need to look into. Was this an insider thing? Was this organized by APC themselves? I don't know.
Yeah.
You need to ask this variety of questions because the timing worries me a lot. Who gave them the order to act?
Yeah, and the funny thing is the church is not even far from the palace of the king, because I heard that some people jumped the fence to the
way the church is like, it's a really big town, but most of the things that are important are in the Okioja. Yeah, they're in the Okioja area. Like my grandfather's house is here, the king's house the palace is here, the church is here.
I see. Like the old way of doing
things. As you can imagine, the way an old town will be set up. So anything that's important, the main market, which is called Ojaba. Let's say this is Ojaba.
Village square kind of thing.
Yeah, this is my grandfather's house.
Like an upper area.
The police station is just further down.
Is there?
So anything that is of importance is around that area.
Yeah.
Now, what the like you said, the timing. The interesting thing is after this incident, a few days, the Amotekuns intercepted 3 lorries, 2 escaped, we got 1. And they said they were employed by, they don't know who employed them, but they were coming to Ondo State. And they had, all these bales of wheat. Yeah. And when they opened it, it was full of
weapons,
poisoned daggers, pistols, guns, and ammunition.
What's going on in that country?
That is what we know. That is what we know. There's so many gists that we've heard of cars are coming in from different parts of the country.
There's sleeper cells everywhere.
The south. And when they're intercepted, people are sitting on bags of tomato. You shift it, you've got AK-47s, you've got proper ammunition. Yeah. So these people are slowly arming themselves.
Yeah.
We are so lost in the whole thing, we don't even know. They're not allowing the governors to arm the Amotekuns. They're not. In as much as I respect culture, but you cannot shoot a bazooka 7 miles from where I am and then you expect someone to be fighting you with bow and arrow. You will die. So in as much as the intentions of the Amotekun is to do what the governor has asked them to do, they're not fit to do that.
To carry out that.
They're not equipped.
They're not
equipped. And who really
but we have military. We have military in each state.
The military. Hold on. The thing about it with the military, if you've noticed, of late there's been rotation. Most of the northerners have been brought to the south. The southerners.
But this is all planned though. Because of that guy. You remember that guy that said that a lot of converted Fulani herdsmen that are doing all this shooting, that they've been saying that they're gradually infiltrating themselves into the south. And since, even though there was a COVID lockdown, they didn't lock down because they were moving all their ammunition and everything. And why move the police or the army from the north to the south? Why? Because I think they're trying to lay foundations.
With the army, though, with the way Nigerian structure is, unfortunately, the IG of police, like I always point, every IG, they don't know their role. They always wait for the CNC to give the order. You don't do that. The army, I can understand the army moves with formation, so they need to wait for their GOC commanding whatever area or their general to say, guys, going. Because first of all, when there is commotion or trouble or wahala outside, it's the police that are meant to first of all be the first line. It's only when the police can no longer protect the society, that's when they ask. It's just like America. They go for the police then go ask the governor, can you let us have the reserve force? The reserve don't come out. The reservists don't come out until it's almost like war. That's why you see those heavily armed people in America. American police are equipped, fortunately, but the Nigerian police, they're not equipped. Now, that little police station in Owo, they could not contain that violence. They would have asked to ask for help from other places. How long will it take? If the police had even gone to the army would draw back and say they've not heard from their own boss. That's how it works. Unfortunately, these structures need to change so that the police can react to something happening. But the police won't react until they hear from their boss. And their boss might just say, I'm not giving that order because there's something going on behind. So, it's all messed up. And people are at the mercy of this guy slaughtering them. It's unfortunate.
Ade's just joined us. Ade, we've just been talking about the massacre in Owo in St. Francis Catholic Church that happened on the 5th of June. I'm sure you heard about it. But it's funny, Ade, you didn't post about it because you're very forward with posting things like this. And I was a bit pissed off about that, actually. And I'm like, Ade didn't even post about this on his WhatsApp. Why didn't you post about it, Ade? What's going on? You're on mute, by the way.
What they show was gruesome. It's not something I can watch. I didn't even watch the video. I saw a glimpse of it and I just put it off. I don't want to think about it. How and who did it, I just think they need to get them, and there's no other way. I don't condone killing people, sentence people to death, but this one, they need to be killed. These people that did it. That's why I don't really want to talk about, because I want to know who did it. But for me, I believe there's a political undertone behind this thing. We don't want to deviate and keep saying it's Fulani Herdsman. They need to get to the bottom of this, right?
Fact.
Because I'm trying to crack in my head. Who could have done it? Who is the devil that will go into a church and decide to just kill people that are not harmed?
Children, women.
You know, they didn't have no boundary. And I don't know. I really don't know. That's gone beyond my own apprehension. I can't even think of it. I don't know. That's why I said to you, I have nothing to say to you, because I just want to see who did it. You know, someone needs to bring those people that did it, and we have to be sure these are the people that did it. I don't want them to bring any Tom, Dick, and Harry and say that these are the people. No, the actual people that did it need to be apprehended.
A few days after the incident, apparently, I know there was a lot of commotion in the palace of the king of Owo, saying that they had caught the people, some of them. Is that true? Because I didn't believe that story.
Okay, so I wouldn't say it's true. I wouldn't say it's not true, because nothing has been confirmed yet. Now, the thing about it is that if I know Arakurin very well, he's that kind of person, and I don't want to speak for him, but he's the kind of person that he will deal with the situation. And when the situation has been dealt with is when I say, yes, this is what I've done, so that there'll be nobody to come and bail anybody. That I know about him.
Who?
The governor of the state. Now, Akeredolu is from Owo, and he feels this is very personal. We Owo people will feel this is very personal. Now, with the political undertone, when Akeredolu won his current bid, because this is his second term, there was a spat between himself and Tinubu, because he wasn't the preferred candidate. So it will be hateful for APC to choose Owo, if indeed this came in from APC, for them to choose Owo as a battleground to do whatever they want to do. Now, we're not sure if the people that have been caught and taken to Akure allegedly are people that have done this. I know for a fact that the Hausas and the Fulanis in Owo are hell-bent on finding the people, because they want to stay in the community. That's why I said there's some good Fulani people and there's some good Hausa people who have enjoyed the benefit of living in that town. They do their business there, they've raised their children there, they've lived in the community and they speak the language. So they are receiving the bad rap because nobody's doing business with them now. So they're massive. They want people to be. Now, like everyone has said, like I said, nobody has monopoly of violence. In as much as I want the police to catch and show their face, showing their face is irrelevant because it doesn't bring the people that are dead back. And it's high time we start making an example, because when you don't do anything, you allow people to walk over you.
Sure.
So it's high time we now start making an example of stupidity. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of people are not going to churches anymore now. Like my parents didn't go to church this weekend. And I don't blame them, because the church...
Ilori, if you remember, that's the question I was trying to pose. What you've said now, I'll tell you, thousands of people, hundreds of people have said it across Nigeria, whether it be in Kano or Kaduna or Jos, they'll speak the same way you spoke now, saying This is the last time. We need to start making examples. You see what I mean? But it is what you said again, Nigeria don't happen to you. So most people, because they're not touched by this violence, they get carried away. Like, we must not forget what Ajike was trying to point out. Nigerians are so hungry, they're frustrated, they're bastardized, we're desensitized to all of these things. So we're like, okay, let's move on, carry on. That's how it is. That's how it works. There's agenda everywhere. Even the big commentators on our mainstream media, they all carry agendas. You know, there's need for uniformity. That's not happening anytime soon, unfortunately, because even the police that are supposed to bring about our uniformity, they don't even know their role in the society. Again, they are beholden to the CNC. They can't make a move without the CNC. Let me tell you something. I've always been proud of Nigerian police. I call them one of the most intelligent if they wanted to do their job.
If they want to do their job,
one of the most despicable if they don't want to do it. Nigerians, if Nigerian police want to catch kidnappers who did kidnap tomorrow, they will get that person. They know how to go about their own intelligence, whether it be different from the conventional way. But these guys can do it. But they don't want to do it because they thrive in this society. So Owo, as much as Owo is painful to us, or those that are very close, especially Yori, who's from there, and my very close friend Pastor, I met him yesterday. He's from that town. He speaks very well about that town. And when it happened, I thought about him. As much as it's very close to home, the guys who matters in Nigeria who can move mountains, they won't move mountains. Ade was saying, get these guys, get these guys. We have a face of a human being who murdered a woman out on broad daylight, boasted about it, and your IGP had the guts to tell you that the guy has run away to Niger. I'm saying invade Niger. Niger is small. We can ask army from Edo State to invade the whole Niger to get that guy. Nigeria is not pulling their weight. What's the reason for Interpol? And yeah, we're talking about make this the last one. We're just only wasting our saliva. They will do again in Edo until we have that what Yori was trying to point at, state police, and that can only come from true federalization. If Ondo was practicing federalization, like they can run their own internal security, then Akeredolu would have been able to say, you know what, get these people for me within so and so hours. He can't do that because he can't order the police commissioner. The order comes from Abuja, and the IGP from Abuja will take orders from the dead CNC. You know, that's what it is. I don't normally abuse Buhari, but this time around, I've caught the whole shit and said I'll be name checking and insulting him because I've never seen a pathetic human being like that guy. I've never seen a human being, so a dead human being who doesn't feel anything. How could you even allow APC convention to happen when that happened? But again, it goes back to the desensitization. Their talk will be like, forget about it. It happened in Jos, man. The F did not stop. It happened in Kaduna. It happens every time in the East. You know what I mean? That was so pathetic.
But it's always churches. It's always churches.
A human being with their senses would have said, call off this convention. Let's do it somehow. But in Nigeria, they don't respect human life again. No. They do not. They value the place on human lives, man. Ajike was just saying you're on the traffic, your antennas are on the high. How do you constantly live a life like that on the edge? And you wonder why all these things happen. I don't live my life on the edge in London. I walk freely. Well, I can understand because I was in Nigeria before. I knew how it was. I can understand the way they've been bastardized. So we're calling out here on TV, this, that happened. Nothing will happen. Akeredolu will do his second term and walk away. There are detractors on those who don't want Akeredolu's plan to work.
No, there are quite a few.
So what are we talking about?
I think the thing is, for those of us, those Nigerians in diaspora, in as much as we really want to go home and enjoy Nigeria, because Nigeria can be very nice when you go on holiday and when it's safe. Well, it's almost like it's almost as though it's a 50% chance. So you have to sort of make that conscious decision. Okay, I want to go to Nigeria, but there's a 50% chance that I might not return. Right? So that's a decision that you have to make.
Increase it to 75%.
Do you understand? That's a decision that you have to make and be ready to live with. And for me, I don't know when next I'm going to see my parents, because I don't see myself packing my bag and going to Nigeria, because I feel like I might not return. The last time I went to Nigeria was when I went to do my wedding in 2012. And even at that, that was when the false oil subsidy or whatever happened. And this was January 2012. And I was already thinking what is going to be written on my tombstone. That's how bad it was, because there was chaos everywhere. There was riots. And after then, I thought, you know what, this country, man,
that time when you went, things were really good. Really, really.
really.
Trust me, really, really good. I don't live in Nigeria, but I make it a point of a duty to go every year on holiday. Now, I've not been in 2 years, and that was because of COVID. And things have gotten really, really, really bad. So bad that the fare to travel from Lagos to Akure is a nightmare for anyone that says, oh, actually, I'm going by road. I'm like, you want to die.
Yeah.
You really want to die, because there's a chance between Lagos to Ibadan. Chances that you may fade. Either you die by a road accident or they kidnap you. It's just ridiculous.
I believe you. I met a guy
There's
who
there's no food, there's no job. Like Ajike is saying, the country has even gone downward from that time that you went. So picture Nigeria as London, the time you went.
Yeah.
Right now, things are really bad, really, really bad. There are no jobs, they're not paying, even to the fact that even paying people's salary, people that actually do the job, they're owing them 8 months' salary. And you still expect people to come to work, pay for school fees, eat. Like most people that have properties in Nigeria and they have tenants, they just let their tenants leave because it's not their fault. It's not as if they don't want to pay your rent. They go
They
to
can't
work.
pay.
They can't pay. How can a grown adult go to work? Do Monday 9 to Friday, 9 to 5, 30,
And you owe them for 6
and then
months.
you pay them 20% of their salary.
And the salary is not even great to start with. Yeah.
So that's why you see this influx of crime or increase of crime. You have Yahoo boys doing their own, you have Yahoo Plus, you have people doing drugs, you have armed robbers. Like, I don't live in Nigeria, but I hear things. You are in the car and it's the grace of God that you're alive driving, because you're not even looking at the road. You are sense checking, where are they bringing it, so that I will know where to go to. Your blood pressure is high. The hospitals are not functional. You know, when this incident happened, they were asking people all over to come and donate blood. They are checkpoints. I spoke to my mom, they're donating blood in this area in government. This hospital was overwhelmed. You needed to see the bed that people were being shot.
I know, I saw it.
So what exactly are we saying Nigeria? Nigeria is a failed state. And I hate
another thing is also the people, you know. You see, as much as we think we've arrived because we now carry smartphones and use Apple phones and all of that, you know, we've just moved steps too further than the technology that is supposed to benefit us. You know, Nigerians like to show off, like, oh, go donate blood, go do that. I saw all the tweets. Donate blood where? How will you get the blood out of these people? Do you have the facilities? These are all the things we need to check. You don't just run with Twitter because you're on Twitter and say things, and yet the structures are not on the ground. You know, I laugh at those people. That's exactly why the so-called NSAS protest failed. I remember quite all right. I said it here, it's going to fail woefully, and I stated how it will happen, and it happened the same way, because we copycat a lot. We want to behave like the Americans because they use social media. Before they use social media, they have structures. You don't have structures on ground, forget about it. Your social media is just a waste of time. The people who matters in Nigeria, they're not on social media. They're only there when there's interest for them. They don't get there. It's like now people insulting Tinubu. He doesn't go through your tweets insulting him. They're building structures. What are you doing? You're just blabbing, insulting people who use Android for Twitter or Android for Facebook. All of that is fakery. That's not a help. They know what to do to help. We have a lot of people, intellectuals from Owo. They know what to do. They know how to advise their states on how to go forward. It's not about just that reactionary attitude always when things happen. You know, we know what to do in Nigeria. Trust me, it's very easy. We know what to do to move Nigeria forward.
Remember during the NSAS protest, before you know it, they had already, the people who were donating funds to fund the protest, they already knew who those people. They already knew what to do, like where to pick these people up.
That's the structure. They own the structure, the army, the police, because we still have those very solid structures you can touch. Not like structures in America where you talk to House of Rep member or London where you talk to an MP on Twitter and they just resign. You can curse anybody you want to curse in Nigeria till tomorrow. You're not going to resign nothing. There are structures. So they have solid structures. These guys are moving with ties, and you are just there blabbing on Twitter. No. They need to come out and support. They're all divided now. None of them are supporting Akeredolu. Akeredolu came out well, but the whole support for that is died down because the APC convention overshadowed all of that. And it shouldn't have been the case. But It is what has happened. It is what it is.
Didn't the APC convention happen that same night, that same Sunday night?
That's why I said hours.
Yeah.
I can't really remember.
I think it was that same night.
Yes.
You know, the interesting thing Jude pointed out is that if it was a sane society, they would have moved that convention.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't, because delegates
Just do that for the sake of our
no. Delegates wanted their $25,000 per head. No, that's the bottom dollar. No, I hate to be so cynical, but that's what people care about. Money. Now, you know, it's so frustrating because you think, who are you? I know this question, maybe because it's my hometown, I'm aggrieved and blah, 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 blah. How can you, one person, be giving people $25,000 per? Where are you getting the money from?
No, but you see, the thing with the convention is they have to follow the timing of INEC, unless INEC give them the exemption to move it. They were on the deadline anyway.
Ade, if it was in a sane community, their INEC.
Come on, Democrats will move it. Democrats will move it. Come on.
Look, there's
No, that's what I'm saying. No, you don't understand what I'm saying.
I understand you, Ade.
The party could request to say, look, this
but
is
I'm telling you, the party did not request.
They're not saying people.
I wouldn't know if they request. But they wouldn't request because of the timing of the payment that has gone out. You have to pay again to the delegate.
So that's what we.
The money that was paid out covers transportation, accommodation for them.
$25,000. That's fine. That's fine. What should have happened? The president, the so-called CNC, could have just stayed away from that convention to show respect. Even the so-called that guy, what's his name? What's his other guy named? The vice president.
Do you know the
funny just should have stayed away.
The funny thing, because I watched the APC convention like you, Jude, I didn't sleep. It was until I think it was just.
You didn't sleep?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I watched it to the morning.
I watched
Trust me. It was the first time I watched Nigerian team.
It was either when Dimeji Bankole came on. Nobody thought to say, let's give 1 minute silence. They've been talking.
Did Dimeji do that? I thought it was Pastor Bakare.
No. Yeah, Bakare and Dimeji, either one of them. It was. Yeah. See, until someone, they
forgot about it.
Nobody said anything.
No,
nobody. They were dancing. They were dancing Bugao this way.
Yeah, that
was all. It was until Bakare and Dimeji Bankole said 1 minute. Nobody said.
Now you see why I said the life of a human in Nigeria.
And you just be like,
that's no point.
Are we kidding me? Yeah. Are we kidding me? But I can tell you, if it was 100 cows that were killed,
yeah, they would have postponed the convention.
They would postpone the convention.
Yes, they would have. They would have.
So this so now with everything that has happened, and this is always happening. Now it's happening in the South. Church attacks in the North is a normal thing.
Normal occurrence.
It doesn't even come out on media anymore because it's a normal occurrence. Now, does that mean that Christians in Nigeria are no longer safe to go to their houses of worship? I don't think Muslims share this same fear. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I saw a video, Ade, you posted it on your WhatsApp status a few days ago, where this guy was in a mosque, he was praying, and as he went down, you could see he had a knife or something tucked into his knicker. And I'm thinking to myself, so what is that for? Because really and truly, this should be the other way around. So Ade, let me come to you because you're a Christmas or a Muskris. I really don't know. What is going on? So does that mean that Christians in Nigeria can no longer go to the church, can no longer leave their children? Because you know those days when we go to church, we're running up and down and our parents are inside the church praying and doing what, but now you can't. I don't even think any parent can go to church and leave their children to roam around because you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think the fear is aligned to Christian or Muslim. It's aligned to everybody. Everybody live in a state of fear now, whether you're a Christian or Muslim. Do you understand? Because you don't know where and who is going to attack or when they're going to attack you. That's the problem now. Do you understand? And if you love yourself, you got to prepare yourself for the unexpected. So if you're able to get away by retaliating and getting yourself out of situation, fine. Those that can't do nothing will not be able to do nothing. Do you understand? Because the guy with the knife is not coming to the mosque to kill anybody, right? I am very sure that. for his own protection.
From who
self-defense.
though? From who?
From unknown gunman, unknown killer. This is unknown they're talking about now. It's not. There's no face to them. They're unknown.
Well, Ade, has there really been, has there, I mean, I might be wrong. Has any of you on this panel ever heard where a mosque was attacked?
Mm-mm.
But again, though,
Have you,
that
sorry,
could
Mr.
be.
Jagojantix, have you heard that?
No, a mosque was burned down, not attacked where people were there.
Burned
Mosque have
down
been burned
where?
down. In Nigeria.
Where?
For what?
So you don't know, mosques have been burned down, even in Jos.
Mr. Jagojantix, you're on mute. Okay, you're this is sounding like a very isolated incident that happened plenty years ago. Have you ever heard of a Muslim being burnt alive for blasphemy?
Not in Yoruba land, as far as I know.
So
And I don't know about.
in the north,
I don't know about.
mosques have been attacked, Muslim schools have been attacked, people have been killed, even the so-called girls that were kidnapped, those countless girls, they were all from Islamic school. All of them were wearing hijab, remember? All those girls that were kidnapped.
Yeah, but they were kidnapped by their own people. Like,
It
Okay.
doesn't
What
matter.
people? How do you know they're
But-
people?
no.
Political.
But come on,
No.
bring back bring back the girls. Those people, what do they call them? Boko
Chibok-
Haram
Chibok
came
girls.
out.
The
Yeah,
Chibok
the
girls.
Chibok girls. Boko Haram
girls.
came out and said they did that.
So
Yes.
are they
Whether
their
we like it or
people?
not-
So
whether we
Sorry?
like it or not,
Are
it's
the
Yeah.
Boko
terrorism.
Haram their people?
Boko Haram, I don't know Muslims.
Well, I don't understand.
understand.
So
They're not
wait. So
they're not Igbos, are they?
So what you're saying is Muslim are the one kidnapping Muslims.
Not
right?
all Muslims. Let me put it that way because
Okay.
there are some
So don't say
peaceful ones.
Muslim. Say Boko Haram because
Yeah.
Boko Haram are the
But
different
Boko Haram,
mentality.
sorry, what's the meaning of Boko Haram, right? What's the meaning
Something
of Boko
against
Haram?
Western education.
Thank you. So I don't
Exactly.
understand.
So
So,
is Muslim
let
Islam
me
against
explain
Western
it to you.
education?
Ade, I don't know.
Are
You're
they
in
No,
the
no,
guy,
no,
but
I just
serious? Are
asked
you
you.
really saying that?
It's
Because you
Muslim.
know, nah.
Is
The thing
Muslim
is,
or Islam against Western education? Is there no school that Muslim goes to in England, in Nigeria? I went to school.
are they serious?
My brother went to
Ade, stop.
Ade,
Let me
stop
start,
now.
please, because Ade, you are using us to
Stop.
catch crews.
Just
That's
stop
what
No,
it.
I'm not. You use the wrong word. If you say that in public here, they will crucify you in parliament.
Okay,
You're a
so
member of parliament.
what's the wrong word I use and what should I be using?
The
Okay.
people, the radicals, are the one that did this. They're not
That's what I
Muslims.
just said, isn't it? I said not
No,
all.
you didn't
Some
put the word
Muslims.
radical. You say Muslim, the people kidnap them. Who's the people?
Some Muslims.
So wait,
Some
so if I'm a
Muslims.
Muslim now and they kidnap me, you say, nine people kidnap me and then carry and go.
It doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't make it right. It does not make
Yeah,
it
so
right.
no, so
Because
don't-
Muslims, those Muslims that you're saying are going to school, like you said, you came here for your education and all of that. They're different, isn't it? You're different from those ones that believe
Okay.
that Sharia
The
and Western religion should not be taught.
Exactly, that's why we're saying they're extremists.
Exactly.
They're
That's what I'm
terrorists.
saying. The
They're not-
extremists.
Don't call them Muslim, just call them the terrorists.
Okay,
Well,
but what religion do they practice though?
I
Oh
think
my
I
So it
like
doesn't
what
matter what religion they practice, so it doesn't matter.
I think
So
I think
now
I
Islam
like
is like, okay, it's fine.
The IPBO boys, are they Muslim or Christian?
No, but the thing is, Ade,
Dominant
without
Christians.
being without being I don't want
Pedantic.
without sounding like a politician. Wait me 1 second. We know that in all religion, they're extremists, right?
Yeah.
They're
That's
extremists.
right.
In Christianity, they're extremists. In Islam, they're extremists. Okay, and it's this group of extremists that went into the school and kidnapped over 200 girls.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
But the extremists are not their people. The girls are studying to better their life. The extremists are just nonsense people. They're crazy. They have criminal minds.
Okay,
The
Ade,
I
children
think
are
I
not-
think
the children-
I think
Ade,
I think
in as
I think God.
Wait, let Bidemi come in. Bidemi's been trying to. Bidemi come in.
Let me clarify the air. You see, the extremists, they have an agenda. We can't generalize. You get
That's why I said some Muslims. Yes, I didn't use the word extremist. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said some Muslims.
so when you listen to what the Boko Haram guys are demanding, it is different from the ones who went and burnt a lady in school. Okay? Those who went and burnt a lady in school are just trying to fight on behalf of Mohammed. Mohammed did not send them the message. But you see those ones, those Boko Haram, they are politically influenced. They have an agenda. Okay? So, and they don't care whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. Also, we have to understand that there are so many factions in Muslim, different ones discriminate against one another. The same way an Arabian would discriminate against a black Muslim. They see us as we're not authentic
Inferior.
Muslims.
In Nigeria, they have the Shiites, they have the Shia, they have the Sunnis.
Exactly. That's the same way a northern Muslim views a Western Muslim. Any Muslim coming from the Yoruba area, they see us like we're not like
you're
them.
not real Muslims.
Exactly. So that discrimination has levels. So we have to understand all those parameters. But you have to also understand that Boko Haram is politically engineered. They have an agenda. So they want to colonize, they want to do this, they want to create fear.
Yes, but what religion do they identify with, please?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So they will say Allahu Akbar before they slaughter somebody. We all know what Allahu Akbar means. If you don't know, quickly borrow from Google.
Because God is great.
So once they say Allahu Akbar, they slaughter that thing. So they're saying, oh, they do Sharia, they want to turn everybody to Muslim, they want to turn Nigerian to Muslim, blah, blah, blah. It cannot happen, but they have an agenda. That is just a facade. They have an agenda. These guys, you have to understand that there is no way the government can say they cannot locate Boko Haram where they are. How much will it cost you to invest in a partnership business with Russia or with France to bring drones to, pinpoint where objects are moving in the forest at night? There are heat detectors. It looks like negative photography. They can pinpoint all these people, but they are not doing it for a reason. It can be done. It doesn't take anything. We've done that course abroad in UK here. We know what it takes to locate people in the forest. Even ordinary hunters in America, they can see where animals are moving at night with something that has to do with radiation. They will be moving around like when you're in a photography lab. You know that negative picture back in the days. You know
there was a video of that.
Exactly.
A drone video. I saw a few weeks back.
Exactly. So it can be done. It is not rocket science, but Nigeria will not do it.
Yeah.
They have an agenda. So we can blame them because they're ignorant, but somebody is financing them, giving them guns. Oh yeah, go and do this thing. Go and create havoc. So
but
I
think what Celia is trying to say is this, though. I think Celia is very right. Yeah, she might have said it differently, but she's right. It's a famous saying: not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. It's simple as that. So that's the long and short. Not all Muslims are terrorists, but all the terrorists that's been causing havoc in that part of Nigeria, they've been Muslims. Just the same way the ones in the south have been. Not all Christians are terrorists, but the terrorists in the east and south, they've been Christians. So that's what Celia was trying to point out.
No, but I tell you,
there are so many Christians pretending to be Fulani herdsmen, pretending to be kidnappers.
So, again, they are terrorists. Simple as that, and they are Christians.
So
let me just say, let me say something.
Mr. Jax, hold on one moment. Let Ade come in. Ade, come in.
Okay. We can say all Fulani Boko Haram terrorists are Muslims, okay? But the religion does not teach them what they're practicing. The Christianity does not teach IPBO what they're practicing, right? They just have criminal minds, as far as I'm concerned. So I refuse to call them Christian or Muslim. I just call them criminal terrorists.
Right.
That's basically.
That's for you.
But when we take them to court, when we catch them, we're going to take them to court to deal with them, and we're going to say this person committed this atrocity, this crime, and that makes him a criminal, right? Forget his religion. Nobody's going to back him up. Nowhere in the Bible or in the Quran we say go and just
you're
kill
absolutely right.
innocent
You're
people.
absolutely right. Forget
You
religion. They've
understand?
broken the law.
Yeah.
The law should handle them.
So
It's fact.
yes.
But
So they're
unfortunately, we don't
criminals.
have laws that can hold them.
But
Yeah,
you
they're
see,
criminals.
Ade, what you're saying is correct. You treat them, but you see, when you look at all this, like the 9/11 attack in America, the one that happened in the UK, when the media puts the news out to say what happened, they don't say a young man. They always
They don't say
add the
Muslims.
religion to it to make
No.
it. They do, don't they? To make it a terrorist attack. Now, imagine after the 9/11, how many Muslims were stopped and searched? Innocent ones that were just going
That's
about with their
America.
families.
That's
Sorry?
America. That's America. In London Bridge, those crazy guys that drove the van in London Bridge, the law, the press, and the law did not call them Muslims. They call them terrorists.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, though.
Just
Unfortunately,
like the Irish of those days. The Irish of those days.
Ade,
they were terrorists.
when you hear the word terrorist, what comes to your mind is a Muslim. I'm sorry, but that's
No,
how
it
the
could be
media
Irish
has
terrorists
portrayed
to
it,
me.
isn't it?
Ade, let's not play fast and loose with language.
Ade.
Sila is saying what happens in the mainstream, and it is
In
what
the
it is.
mainstream,
No, we have to
that's
change
why
that perspective.
That's
But
why
that's
people
what-
will see someone
When you hear
dressed, you know,
terrorism,
on a
pick
Friday,
Muslims, trust me.
when people are going to the mosque, Ade, when you wear the white, I don't know what they call it.
Jalabiya.
Yeah, people are going to look at you funny, like, oh my, do you understand? So
You're
this
saying
is
it.
what
You're
I'm
saying
saying.
that it is.
Unfortunately, that stereotype is already there.
Yeah.
Even with my beard, people see me with beards, they just label me Muslim.
Yeah.
Do you know the interesting thing is that Mr. But he's got beards. I've told him, I said, boy, you need to cut this thing down. Like, before you start attracting attention. Unfortunately, it's the way Muslims have been stereotyped.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. And at the same time, our government is not helping. You're saying, oh, don't call Muslims, but we don't know who is terrorist in Nigeria because our government has failed to label the right people as terrorists.
You don't have a government in Nigeria. You have politicians.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go.
That's right,
Now,
yes.
another area I wanted us to look into quickly before we move into the politics section of this is, so I've seen some videos where in some Catholic churches, and I don't know if this is happening in normal Pentecostal churches, where the priest is telling the congregation outside the church before they gain entrance to the church, no PVC, no entry, no privacy, no communion. And for a Catholic, communion is a very important thing that they must do every week, right? So what do you guys think about this? Ajike, let me come to you first. You're in Nigeria and no, you don't attend a Catholic church. Is this happening in your church? No PVC, no entrance? Or has your pastor spoken to the congregation about getting their PVC?
Yes, they have. They have spoken to us about getting our PVCs. You know, it's everywhere. Everybody's saying it, but they will not tell you not to come to church because of that. Even the Catholic Church in Nigeria has come out to say that they didn't send him a message. So it's not like it's a forceful thing, but really it has come to that. Let everybody try and get it and vote rightly and do what needs to be done.
But I think if it's his own way of sensitizing people, it's great. But again, we must be very careful. Is what Ade has been trying to fight. Unfortunately, stereotypes are stereotypes. Obi, I believe, is the reason they're asking for people to come to shows, come to comedy shows, come to stadiums, come to churches with your PVC or no entrance. And Obi himself is a staunch Catholic member. So it might be interpreted as if, okay, we're doing sectarianism, but it is what it is. If sectarianism will bring about sanity I'm not saying I don't do Messiah though. I don't believe in anybody being our Messiah. I believe systems should sort Nigeria out, not people. So, but if that's the way the man can get people to be sensitized about this delicate situation, then they should be allowed to do it, because other people are using bag of gari and fufu. Some are using cold water. Some are using ice cream and popcorn. So if that's what the Catholic Church is saying, I won't give you Holy Communion because he understands that Holy Communion is very sacred to his people, and they would then play a game with that. Then let him do what he has to do to sensitize people. It's a long time. It's a marathon. This is just the first phase. The election process is 8 months away. They'll get tired, frustrated, hunger will set in. Like Ajike said, can they keep up this momentum? I don't see them keeping it, but let them do whatever they can do.
The thing about it is that as Catholics, we're not saying vote for a particular person. We're just saying get your PVC. It's the least you can do. If you don't want Nigeria to continue the way Nigeria is continuing, you need to exercise your own right. The only way you can exercise right is to have a PVC. That's all the priest is saying. They're not saying go and vote for Obi. They're not saying go and vote for Tinubu. They are saying you need to have a PVC. Now, communion is very important to us as Catholics. So if they say you are not getting communion, trust me, people will go and get their PVC. Even if it takes them 10 years to get it, they will get it. And now it is now down to you how the hunger is biting you in your head that you know who you're going to vote for. So I support it. Look, the Bible even says, give unto Caesar what is into Caesar and give unto God what is God. When the time comes, I think it's in, I can't remember what Bible verse now, I can't remember. There's a portion in the Bible that talks about civil responsibility. This is our civil responsibility, be it Christian, be it Christmas, be it Muslim. The least you can do, the bare minimum you can do is get PVC. How do you now turn that into something as a weapon where you vote for your party or choice or person of choice is down to you and your children. If Nigerians don't want to see stone and call it food, they need to think well and exercise that. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to vote. Don't vote. The hungry people that are collecting bag of rice will determine your future. Now people say, well, my votes may not count. Your vote may not count. Their votes. Let's just say, okay, yes, I've done my bit, but it didn't count. But you can't sit there 4 years down the line, and bag of rice that used to be 2,000 naira is now 52,000 naira. Gas on 95 cylinder, the cylinder that they sell for 8,000 or 9,000 is now 20,000. People can't afford to buy fuel. People can't afford to eat, and you're blaming the stupid people that sold their votes. Fuck out of here.
Excuse this French.
Okay.
Excuse
Ade,
the
did you want to
French.
add something before we move on?
Well, I am in full support of get your PVC. You don't get it, you don't enter any, not even a pub. Refuse them entry.
You should do it like the COVID passport, hey?
Yes,
Simple.
because it's about time, right? Nigeria needs to stop saying my vote don't count. I don't care whether it counts, right? If I am in Nigeria, I would do a T-shirt to say obedient, vote for Obi, right? The people you see in APC, PDP, they're the same thing, moving left and right and center between the two parties. Yeah, they're siblings from the same parents, right? Their agenda is the same, their wage is the same, nothing's going to change, right? But we need something different, right? I don't care whether it's Jibo, whether it's Edo, whether it's Obi, is a neutral person as far as I'm concerned, right? And even though he might not win, he needs to shake them. So if he comes second, believe me, they will sit right. They will know that as a first, and the momentum must not stop. Another 4 years, we will go again, right? Mandela did not get in one go. Things does not change in places in one election, but continue to push is what we need to do. But they need to make every young person to get PVC, whichever way you can punish them to make sure you must get it, and they must vote.
This is very interesting
People
to
are
hear
tired.
from you,
People are
Ade.
tired.
Yeah,
People are tired. I'm tired. I'm
and
tired of
they
sending money to people. I'm tired of bailing people out in Nigeria.
I think Ade is right there. If you're not tired of, look, I'm tired too of carrying people I know and I don't know. You are
Yeah.
absolutely right.